So a lot has been going on right now, and I just had to make this video because if what's going on with police violence is not bothering you, you have to question whether or not you're human. You have to because that could be anybody. The killings that have been going on, in spite of the riots, you have people getting killed mercilessly. I mean, you guys had someone just got killed last night in Atlanta, or was it a couple nights ago? I mean, it's just crazy. Like, why would that happen in spite of everything that's going on? I've written about police violence. Published a book on police violence. Police violence. The name of the book is Police Violence: Understanding its Basic History, Causal Origins, Health Consequences, and Prevention Strategies. Okay, so I've written about that. I've published an article in a journal. Um, Journal of African American Studies. The title is Identifying Cities or Countries at Risk for Police Violence. And so I'm that's my street cred right there. I've studied police violence. I've worked on it. I've sued police numerous times for violating my rights as far as police violence goes. I don't wait for something, someone to get killed before you sue the police. For every infraction or violation of rights they do, you have to sue so that they understand what they need to do and not do. Because if you wait for someone who's dead, I mean, you can't bring the person back to life. You know, you want to make sure that if they violate your rights, if they hurt you in any way, I don't care how, you've got to hold them accountable. Now, before I even go into more of this police violence thing, I want to give some recognition to Governor Cuomo in New York. I mean, that guy. I wish he was the one running for president. You know, I mean, Joe Biden is good. I like Joe Biden. He's gonna be okay, but Joe Biden is what, like 78. If he finishes his first term, he's gonna be like 82 years old. I mean, if he does a second term, he's gonna be like 86 if he finishes it. If he's gonna be alive, then I mean, I don't know. I hope Joe Biden does one term. We need him to just get rid of Trump out of that place. But after in the first term, he might want to just abdicate and let someone else run. Most likely, Cuomo would win if he does, hopefully, and he will be a very good president. I mean, what he's done in New York, he took a very dire situation of coronavirus in New York and turned things around. Now they have one of the lowest death rates in the country and infection rates in the country. And he has been swift as far as police violence goes. He has signed some legislation, into law, and he's acting very, very fast. Now, what he's done may not be enough, but it's a great, speedy, quick. We need a quick response to deal with this issue. And he is so great, he's so intelligent, articulate, he's focused, he's a great guy. I mean, he would have made a very good president. So that's my recognition to Cuomo, what he's doing over there in New York. That's who the country needs right now. Not someone like Trump who's keep currently trying to divide the country. And we just need help to not only address the issue of the coronavirus, but also the century long issue of police violence. Now, look, I was never a proponent of defunding the police initially. If you read my book on police violence, that was not me. That was not what I was thinking. I was thinking, oh, it needs to be, restructured and what have you, and reorganized and fix a few things here and there. But I've come to look at it right now, think about it, but that you just cannot restructure the American police. You cannot. And I'll give you my reasons for that as quickly as I can. Okay? Check this out. If you buy a house, for example, a brand new house, okay, you like the house, you might want to do a couple things here and there, to make it, be exactly what you want. You might do a few things with the lawn, change a few paints here and there, but add a few things here and there, and that's it. You don't need to do anything much. That's for a brand new, even for a brand new house, you might have to do a few things here and there. If you buy a used house, you may have to repaint the whole house or redo the lawn or change one or two things here and there. And depending on how things go, how old it is, you may have to do a lot more. And if it's a very, very bad house that has been given a lot of problems, even caused death, maybe there's some injuries, accidents here and there because of that house, people living in the house, people coming to the house, even as you're buying this house, it may get to the point where you cannot just do a few, renovations here and there, restructure things here and there. Sometimes you get to the point where you just have to tear down the whole house. You have to tear it down and rebuild it from scratch. You have to bring down the whole thing because it is no good trying to, it may cost you more trying to renovate it or trying to, it just would not work. You just have to check, but the structure is bad, the foundation is wrong. And the foundation of the American police was built on racism, on fear, on intimidation, on marginalization, on just basically maltreating and torturing people, enslaving people. That was the founding. If you read my book, I talked about the police originated from the police patrols who were looking for slaves, escaped slaves, or to re-enslave people who are already free. Okay, so it was a very, very bad foundation, and that foundation still persists in some form, shape, or other way. And you have white supremacists who are looking at the job of the police officer as a way to continue to perpetuate their beliefs. In my interactions with most police officers, 99% of them have not been good. You know, I could say I've interacted with at least maybe 100 officers. Maybe one or two, maybe 98%, one or two are just, really, really good and just nice people. But most of them were not. But you hear people say, oh, 99% of police officers are good. No, no, that's not the case. I don't care whether it's black or white. The African American ones are much better, as far as not being, excessively on the other side, but not necessarily. Some of them are also not that good of a person as far as being police officers. They've adopted some of these values that they seen the other uh, uh, Caucasian police officers, do and take. So you have to clean things up from scratch. You have to go all the way down, bring down the whole police system, and start from scratch again. You have to psychologically evaluate these people, look at their history, make sure they have no sense of white supremacy or any of these bullying tactics or beliefs or history. So these are the people that you don't want to be in the police, no matter the race. And you have to have a structure where the people who are making the hiring decisions are not in any way likely to be someone who believes in white supremacy or what have you. Okay, this is what we have to go through. And the two groups that have been mostly and severely marginalized and affected by structural racism in America have been African Americans and Native Americans. And I think this should be the one making the hiring decisions as far as the police. Okay, I mean, I don't think anyone else should. I mean, those are the only two people who should be. I mean, that pure, I'm Native American. I'm not talking about someone who is one 32nd Native American. I'm talking about someone who is really Native American. All right, they should be the one making hiring decisions as in African Americans. Anyone else, I'm worried that you don't know who you're getting. So as far as I'm saying this, if you have a situation where someone, a building is like the foundation is so bad, you have to tear down the building and build it from scratch, build a new building, defund the police and start from scratch. Now it's risky for a big city. Small cities can easily do this. They should be the first one doing this right now. Small cities. But as far as a big city goes, you might want to keep investigators and detectives in, because if a crime happens, someone has to go investigate. You could defund the police, bring everyone down, leave the police chief there or put a new police chief there, leave investigators and detectives there and start from scratch. Because if a crime is committed, someone has to go investigate, but you have to start from scratch, rehiring these police officers, have them go through tests. They have to pass the test, a licensing procedure pretty much, to make sure they understand the law, make sure they understand the Bill of Rights and don't violate it. Put situation scenarios in those tests and make sure they know what they're supposed to do, how they're supposed to do it. For example, with the guy in Atlanta, I can't remember his name, who just got killed, he was in a private parking lot. I know that you cannot enforce a driving citation on a private parking lot. That's private property. It's not public road. You can only do that on the public road. Okay, now I don't know what the law in Atlanta is, but no, throughout America, a private parking lot is not a place for you to write a ticket or to sue someone for DUI, what have you. That's a private space, unless the owner of that location tells you, okay, I want you to do this, then you can to get this person out of my property. But it's still not an enforceable thing of saying I'm going to charge you for DUI. That guy was asleep in his car. Why does it lead to death? It's crazy. So I was not a fan of defunding police, but I think you just have to rebuild from the foundation up. Get a new foundation for the police system, rebuild it, and then we should be fine. Otherwise, we're going to keep having these problems over and over again. This patchwork of putting one legislation there, one bandage legislation there, one bandage legislation there, it's not going to work. It's not going to create the change that we need to see. And it's getting so much. I'm tired of being tired of seeing people get killed. Like these people have children, they have brothers. I don't care. And these people didn't commit a serious felony, a serious crime where you have to actually um, kill them. Okay, they often start with the most basic misdemeanor or no crime at all. And we have to also look at how we make this change. You need to put people who know the stuff, who know how to reform police, who know understand the issue. Have studied this issue to get those changes done. Because I have got so many ideas that, you know, we should be making these decisions. But the people up there, they don't know what to do, and they just running around trying to figure out what to do, and they don't know. Look, another issue there is calling the police. People call the police for just about everything. There's no personal or community responsibility at all. Someone is asleep in your parking lot. Okay, did you go talk to the person to see if they're okay or why they're sleeping in the car in the line? Or have them pull over, somewhere else? Why do you have to call the police? Is it a crime? Does everything have to involve calling the police? Does every little thing have to involve calling the police? A car is stopped in the middle of the road, you call the police. To do what? There is no personal responsibility. There's no proactive action. There's always pick up the phone. And the emergency responders, or dispatchers, I should say, who take this phone calls, they don't ask, is there a crime being committed? If there's not a crime being committed, don't call the police. Don't send the police there. It's just not right, because you're putting someone in a situation where they make contact with the police and then someone might get killed or hurt. And we can't keep having that. So I'm just so tired. Like, this country, needs to wash itself of all these sins and all these killings. It's just too much. We need to start from scratch and rebuild the police from the ground up. The foundation is so bad, you just have to rebuild. And Democrats and Republicans are all at fault with this, especially Democrats, because most of these things happen in cities run by Democrats. To be frank, so the Democratic Party is the worst party as far as police violence in their cities. You have to just defund the police and start from scratch. Leave those investigators and detectives there. Leave a police chief. You can keep police officers to secure public buildings, government buildings, but being in interaction with the public right now is just a no-go. We need to just start afresh. Hire these people, have them go through psychological evaluations, make sure they pass this licensing test, make sure they pass all these evaluations from psychologists before we put them out there on the street. And we have to ensure that the people making the hiring decisions could not possibly be white supremacists, because they are the ones that are putting these guys out there that have no regard for the lives of minorities, and it's just not good. It's just, if this is not bothering you, yeah, you're such a selfish person that you shouldn't be alive. Like, really, for this issue of seeing people getting killed, what if it was you getting killed like that? What if it was your brother? It could happen to anybody. I had a case where I purchased a car. One of my suits against the police. I just purchased a car. Okay, I had the car in the parking lot of my office building, and now I've been looking through the car all day, checking things, fixing things here and there. It was a recently purchased used vehicle, and I was checking things, fixing things. And this vehicle was parked right next to the building. My building was across from the street was a McDonald's. And someone was going through the drive-through, who doesn't work in the office, but who doesn't live there, who doesn't know who I am, who owns the car, called the police and said that I was breaking into my own car. Now, he didn't know it was my car. I saw there's a black guy breaking into a Toyota. Now, my car was a Mercedes, but he said a Toyota. And the police came over there and boom, put me in handcuffs. My own car. Like, that's how messed up it is. Now, based on my studies of police violence and everything that's been going on, I knew how to handle the situation to get out of it, without getting seriously hurt or killed. Okay, but that situation could easily get out of hand, especially when the frustration of you being getting arrested for your for touching your own car, you know. Now I sue the police, for sure, but these are the issues that even when you're a good person, even when you mind your own business, you risk getting killed. Now, there's legislation in New York, which is why I like Cuomo, that such kind of calls can be looked upon as a hate crime, as a crime, calling police for such false, things like that. And many cities have instituted laws where you can't just call the police to report a vehicle being broken into when you don't own the vehicle or you don't know who owns the vehicle. You can't just call the police because making that assumption. Now, that is a change that has gone in because of that. But just that kind of situation that you are, that you matter how good you are, how honest you are, how straightforward you are, you could just be put into a dangerous situation by some crazy person who may or may not be a racist, who may be prejudiced, calling the police on you. So it's a crazy situation. I've had so many scenarios living in America where someone calls the police for something that is so innocent that you mind your own business, but you could still be in the crossroads of facing life or death, and we just have to change things. It goes from the whole system. It's not just the police itself, the emergency dispatches, the court system, the criminal justice system. All of this is a structural racism. Everything from the top that has to be rebuilt from scratch. We have to just start over again because the foundation is so bad. You can't just renovate and patchwork and fix it. You have to rebuild from the ground up, and we have to do it in a strategic way before we can get this thing done. And I just had to put it out there, put my ideas out there. Whoever it gets to, great. You can use my ideas. I don't care. If I'm not at the table, if I'm at the table, well, fine. I'm writing a bunch of stuff that I'll be putting out there. I have my journal article has been downloaded by almost 1,000 times. Okay, people are buying my books. So we'll see how it goes. And I hope that this idea helps to change it. But as far as defunding the police, I think that is where we need to go. But we have to do it in a strategic way so that it is safe and effective, and it gets the job done. We cannot make a mistake, and then we have to do it right. Thank you.